THAOSINTHEQUSERVATOR, following the severe stroke that the American Pickers star Frank Fritz had. The conservator for Fritz is in danger of being removed by the court. After suffering a stroke that rendered him unable to function normally, the conservator of American Pickers star Frank Fritz is in danger of being removed by a court, according to information obtained exclusively by the United States Sun. On August 18, Frank's friends submitted a request for an emergency appointment of a temporary guardian and conservator for the celebrity, saying that his ability to make decisions is significantly damaged as a result of the stroke that occurred in July at his residence in Iowa. A notice of delinquency for conservatorships was submitted on June 2, according to court documents that have been brought to the attention of the United States Sun exclusively. Unfortunately, a report on the inventory was not submitted by the deadline of December 12, 2022. The court papers read, "Failure to file the same within 60 days from the date hereof will result in 1. A report being made to the presiding judge, 2. The fiduciaries being subject to removal, 3. A report being made to the chief judge of the judicial district and the administrator of the judicial branch, and 4. A report being made to the Committee on Professional Ethics and Conduct, which may result in disciplinary action being taken." According to the document that was submitted to the court, Midwestone Bank operates as the conservator, while Chris Davis, Frank's acquaintance, serves as the guardian. YTHCMSERV2RYOVERLOCATION. The news that the conservatorship was filed in August of 2022 was first reported by the United States Sun. The following is an excerpt from the records that were acquired by the United States Sun. Mr. Fritz's decision-making capacity is so impaired as a result of his stroke that he is unable to care for his own safety or to provide for necessities such as food, shelter, clothing, or medical care, without which he may suffer from a physical injury or illness. According to the statement, Mr. Fritz's decision-making capacity is so impaired that he is unable to make, communicate, or carry out important decisions concerning his own financial affairs. An evidence from a physician was referenced in the court documents, and it was said that the exhibit confirmed that Frank did not have the ability to make decisions. The following additional information was included in the court documents. Decisions must be made for Mr. Fritz's care and placement while he continues to recover and receive treatment for his injuries. It is imperative that a guardian and conservator be appointed in order to prevent any imminent damage from occurring to him. A different long-standing friend of Frank's who has been aiding him in decision-making ever since the stroke was petitioned to be Frank's guardian by the petitioner. The guardian will provide assistance to Frank in the treatment of his Crohn's illness as well as in his ongoing physical therapy. Additionally, he will assist the former American Pickers star in going food shopping, cooking, and getting to any activity that he is interested in participating in. TGFINCESOFFRNK. Initial plan documents were submitted by Midwestone Bank, which disclosed Frank's monthly expenditures. There are costs that Frank incurs on a monthly basis totaling $28,292, including $22,832 for in-home health care. The celebrity will have to pay a total of $273,984 each year for their medical treatment alone. Recently, the United States Sun was able to get fresh photographs of Frank's house, which reveal that a ramp designed specifically for wheelchair users had been constructed for him. The wheelchair ramp was seen around the rear of the home in LeClaire, Iowa, where the property was located. EVERGENCIMEDICLCERNS. Due to the fact that the United States Sun has received exclusive access to 4,911 calls that were sent from the residents, Frank has been experiencing a lot of difficulty with his health in recent months. As a consequence, he was taken to the hospital. Because Frank was suffering a seizure on November 17, his caretaker called 911 to get medical assistance. The operator was informed by her that he just returned home from inpatient rehabilitation for a stroke. Right now, he is experiencing a full-blown seizure, maybe more than one. The man has been trembling. After that, she spoke with the operator about ways in which she might be of assistance to him, since she was being moved to the medical department. On the 7th of December, another caregiver phoned 911 to report that their blood pressure was high. She made the following statement on the call: "I have a stroke victim who is 59 years old and has elevated blood pressure." She could be heard telling Frank, "You have to go because your blood pressure is too high." You could hear Frank groaning in the background as she spoke to him. In response, he said, "Oh." Another caregiver contacted 911 on December 21 to report a suspected case of pneumonia. This was the second of two calls that happened. Next Frank's guardian phoned the next day. "I'm going to need an ambulance to take someone to the hospital because I think they have pneumonia," he stated during the call. "I'm going to need ambulance service. As the protector, he suffers from a disability. He is confined to a wheelchair." The firing of Frank. The last time Frank appeared on American Pickers was in an episode that aired in March of 2020. He had taken a break from the show in order to recuperate from back surgery, which resulted in his receiving 185 stitches and 2 rods in his spine. Frank was able to shed 65 pounds while he was away from the program. Furthermore, he disclosed to the United States Sun that he completed 77 days of treatment for alcohol addiction in UA. During the interview that took place in 2021 with the United States Sun, Frank disclosed his animosity with his co-star Mike. According to Frank, "I haven't spoken to Mike in the past 2 years. Despite the fact that he was aware that my back was infected, he did not contact me to inquire about how I was doing. But that is the way things are. Everything is stacked in his favor 100% of the time, for the sake of demonstrating how much I can't even bend down that far." Okay, that's all right. The situation is similar to that of Aerosmith, with Steven Tyler serving as the band's frontman. In this case, I found my place on the show. I'm now in second place, just behind him. I don't have an issue with it, but it's possible that he does have a problem. In fact, he went so far as to state, "I believe Mike is trying to get his brother Robbie in there to have me replaced. I am really perplexed as to why he is acting in such a manner toward me." Friends. The Quad City Times was informed by a friend that Frank and Mike came together for a bittersweet reunion during the course of Memorial Day weekend. It was not at all a quarrel between Mike and Frank, according to the friend who said it. They did not engage in a quarrel. They needed time apart in order to really appreciate one another. After 11 seasons of working 10-hour days, 7 days a week on the reality TV program, the buddies stated that the connection between the lifelong friends got tight to the point that it became strained. In the course of their long-awaited reunion, she reported to the press that both Mike and Frank were overcome with emotion. In addition to revealing that both were crying, the buddy went on to say that Mike brought up how nervous they both were to be going on David Letterman, which was one of their first major performances. Mike reminded his former co-star, Frank, that "nobody can replace you, Frank," while also conceding that it was Frank's uniquely funny personality that contributed to the fact that they worked so well together over the 11 years that they spent producing the program. Following Frank's statement to the friend, "I need to talk to Mike," the friend decided to phone the television personality on Mother's Day in order to take the necessary steps to make the necessary preparations. Mike really emphasized all of the good times they had before the show and during the show, the source said following the conclusion of the conversation. Mike did say he'd like Frank back on the show,